superhero movies and scary shit. The two most important things a human can have, and that's objectively true. Today we'll be looking at some horrifying scenes in superhero movies. We're going to be looking at live action superhero movies because if we do animated superhero movies, well, they get much darker, so I feel like that's a whole video entirely. Also, I'm not looking at notable or gruesome deaths, so if you're expecting a snap or Marvel Jesus quoting someone at the worst possible time, you're not going to find it here. Before jumping into it, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, it's good to see you again. Alright. Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock surgery scene. This scene scared the absolute shit out of me as a kid. Just before the carnage is released, there is a subtle hint that the arms are awake, and it kinda reminds me of the Final Destination movies, when it foreshadows death.
If you know, you know.
And while the PG-13 rating definitely held back Sam Raimi, I mean if you've seen the Evil Dead series, you know what I'm talking about. The screams, the brutality in which the surgeons are getting thrown around at, and the lady scratching her nails across the floor. Ugh. Tobey's Spider-Man movies are probably my favorite. However, I think Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And what I say is a fact. Like black licorice shouldn't exist. With that being said, let's move to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Spider-Man, Far From Home. Mysterio's illusion scene.
If you were good enough, maybe Tony would still be alive.
Got him!
Deep down, you know I'm right.
Spider-Man is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and a big reason for that is his villains. I was so excited when Mysterio was announced as the new villain for Far From Home, and on top of that, it's played by an amazing actor. And the illusion scene gave me hard comic book vibes, and a pretty good jump scare. Although I want to say I was in a theater and I don't like loud noises. But other than that, I'm a big strong boy. Man, I'm a big strong man. The zombie Iron Man is a reference to the Marvel zombie comic series. But things like Mysterio taking off his helmet with Spider-Man in it, as well as Mysterio's movements, it's exactly what I pictured as a kid looking at the comic panels. Do you have a favorite Spider-Man villain you want to see in the live action films? Because I would love to see the Chameleon or the Hobgoblin. And here's a little ramble. In the new Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, and the most recent one with all the other Spider-Mans, Tom Holland's Peter, his friend is Ned. And in the comics, Ned leads as one of the Hobgoblins. And throughout Spider-Man No Way Home, there are multiple references where Ned says something like, "Hey Peter, I hope I don't become evil one day and try to kill you."
And I promise you, I won't turn into a supervillain and try to kill you.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy, maybe I'm a loony bin who should be in a rubber room, but in 30 years if it happens, I'm gonna clip this and say I told you so, as I scream at the wall in the nursing home. Alright, we're done with Spidey. Superman 3, Vera's transformation. Superman 3 was not the strongest of the Superman movies back in the day. It definitely wasn't the worst though. But this scene in particular, with Annie Ross's character, Vera, getting infected with the computer and turning into a cyborg monster, scared the hell out of me as a kid. The screams that just abruptly stops is what really does it for me. And while there isn't any blood, you have to remember this is a PG movie, so, you know, can't really do much with that.
That's what she said!
And I thought this movie was pretty good as a kid, but looking back at it, we've come a long way. Did this scene scare any of you Superman fans out there? Constantine, burning in hell. While having this movie on this list may be debatable, seeing how the Constantine movie didn't really follow what John Constantine's character is, it's still a superhero movie. With that being said, I love John Constantine as a character. And if you want to see more accurate representations of him, I highly suggest the animated movies Justice League Dark or Constantine City of Demons. You'll see that he's an actual anti-hero who's more of a dick, who's selfish and does things simply for his own good.
I have to say, I don't fancy the new look, love. Makes you look a bit murdery.
But in the movie Constantine, Keanu Reeves' portrayal is much more heroic. Regardless, Constantine is a good movie in my opinion. I especially like the portrayal of the devil in the movie. Demon! And as you saw, Hell. And while we only got to see Hell for a little bit, I got the vibes of Dante's Inferno. And to me, the scary part is all those people trapped underneath the surface. I definitely give Hell a 0 out of 5 on Yelp reviews. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. I'd really like to see Keanu Reeves come back as John Constantine. Hopefully with a more accurate representation, and who knows, James Gunn might just do it. Would you like to see John Constantine come back on the big screen? Blade 2, The Reapers. Blade 2 introduces the Reapers. And for Blade and the Vampires, that's a big fucky wucky. Seeing how the Reapers are like Russians during the Olympics, that was an enhancement joke because Russians are known for doping during the Olympics and getting banned for it.
I read about
Reapers are stronger and more brutal than vampires. And seeing how this is the case, Blade and the vampires figure the enemy of my enemy is a piece of shit. So they team up against the Reapers. I really like the effects the Reapers have. And seeing how the film was made in 2002, it makes it even better in my opinion. And that might just because my brain is too desensitized with all this Marvel and DC CGI dog doo-doo. I don't know, man, it's just gross. The first scene introducing them is what really stuck out to me. Because I was just expecting another little vampire nibble. Then this guy just turned into an anaconda and wanted to start sucking face. In the behind the scenes of Blade 2, you get to see some of the sketches they had for the other Reapers. And I tell you what, they're freaking terrifying. The Dark Knight. Jump scare scene.
And those criminals are back on the streets, followed swiftly by you and me.
Dude, I hated this scene so much. I had to change my diaper and everything. It was a whole ordeal in the theater. In all seriousness, the way they set up this scene is perfect. The calm, cordial conversation, that's 3 C's, baby, with a loud bang of the glass, and a sound that sounds like Michael Myers' jump scare sound effect. I also think the follow-up video of the hostage being recorded by Joker is also pretty scary, but the jump scare made me groundhog a little, so I have to give it its due. Were you scared by this scene, or did you have your big boy pants on when you watched it? So at the beginning of the video, I said I wouldn't include any notable deaths or gruesome deaths, and I lied, kind of. But my justification is this next movie is just full of death, so I'm choosing just one scene out of a lot. But yeah, it also doesn't really matter, does it? Watchmen. Dr. Manhattan throws a little tantrum.
Do you care to come? I said, leave me alone!
Yeah, so Dr. Manhattan did what Homelander wishes he could do. I really like the trope of a super powerful character just losing it for a split second, but in that split second, mass amounts of casualties happen. Dr. Manhattan can manipulate matter on a subatomic level, making him one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful characters in his world. And I'd say Dr. Manhattan, or rather John Osterman's transition into being what he would become, is also chilling. But this showcase of Dr. Manhattan foreshadows the end of the movie and just his raw power in general. Another scene I almost included was the prison fight scene where the guy gets his arms just sawed off. Here, I'll show it right now, but the thing is you're probably just looking at a bunch of censorship. So I didn't want to just show you some pixels.
Hello.
With that being said, this movie's graphic. It's not the best story-wise, but it's a treat. I highly recommend it. Alright, so that was some of the scariest superhero scenes in movies. Am I missing one of your favorites? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, a like really helps me out, and if I earned it, why not subscribe? Alright, bye.
This really you?
I beat my meat into a cup.
What?